Hello everyone and welcome to the Tellow Family Kitchen, where we continue our theme of Italian cooking as we watch the Winter Olympics. More on that in a moment, but first let's get into today's dish. We'll be making risotto. Risotto is a classic northern Italian rice dish known for its creamy texture. It's made by cooking high-starch, short-grain rice with broth. So 7 medals total so far for the United States through Tuesday, highlighted by Breezy Johnson's win in the women's downhill and the figure skating team gold. They were great. Certainly a good start for Team USA, and we'll hope for a speedy recovery for Lindsey Vonn, who was injured in that downhill, a reminder of the risks associated with alpine skiing. So as we continue to watch, let's get into the ingredients. So we have 8 total. Here's the arborio rice, our star ingredient. We'll also use butter, oil, chicken broth, salt, Parmesan cheese, white wine, and shallots. So the first step, we'll get our broth into a pan and start warming it up. And that's probably enough to get it heated up. So now that the broth is hot, I reduced it to a simmer, and then we'll go over here and work on our shallots. I already peeled this one. You can also use onions if you want. You can even put some in the broth if you want. You want to use about 3 tablespoons of these shallots, and we'll just kind of mince them down here. Okay, then in our other pan, I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 tablespoons of butter here, and we'll get that on the heat. After the butter and oil heats up, then we'll add all of the shallots in here, and we'll mix this in. Usually takes about 2 minutes. And then after the shallots kind of become a little translucent, we'll add the 1 cup of arborio rice, and we'll saute this for a few minutes. So after sauteing it for a few minutes, now I'm going to add 1/4 cup of white wine. And we'll saute that until it burns off. So once the wine is dissolved, we'll get 1 ladle of our broth and add that over here. And then this is the key. We have to keep stirring it most of the time. I don't know if you have to stir it all the time, but it requires a lot of stirring until the wine and until the broth is dissolved. So once the first ladle of broth is mostly dissolved, then we'll add the second ladle over here, and we just keep cooking it the same way. I've heard it takes about maybe 18 to 20 minutes total, because usually you have to use 2 to 3, maybe 4 ladles of broth, and we just keep stirring it. So as we're still stirring it, we'll add, I think this will probably be enough, a 1/3 ladle here. By the way, I'm cooking this on about a medium heat. And keep stirring that in. And then I think after this ladle of broth, it should be just about ready. And we'll add the finishing touches. So far we've used 3 ladles of the broth. One way I heard that you can kind of tell it's done is if you pick it up like this, if it just drops off the spoon like that, that's likely how we know it's done. So then at this point, I'm going to add these little blocks of butter, about 1 tablespoon each, and then here just a little bit of salt to taste, and we'll let that dissolve before we add the final ingredient, which is the Parmesan cheese. So once the butter has dissolved, I turned off the heat, and then the last step, we'll add our Parmesan. Add about, this is of course always optional, depends on how much you want to add. Before I get it in the plate, I'm going to add a little bit more broth just to get it a little bit more creamy, because it should be almost like a porridge when we serve it. After I added a little bit more broth, I think now that's kind of the consistency where it's like really creamy like that. I think that's pretty good. And then we'll get some in our bowl here. It's looking pretty good. And then we'll give it a taste. It a little bit reminds me of my grandma's wild rice soup. Really depth, delicious flavors. Really creamy. Just perfect for watching the Winter Olympics. I hope you guys get a chance to try this risotto. And if you do, let me know what you think. The recipe and ingredients are at the bottom of the video. Really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks so much to Mom for her help running the camera. And we'll see you next time from the Tellow Family Kitchen.